here we go. Well, welcome, my friends. It's Wednesday night, and we are going to start on our mat in a standing position. So, just like we formulate our breath in meditation, you can also formulate your breath throughout your physical practice. So, just to begin with, I'm going to ask you guys to stand up and place your hands on your rib cage. Okay, just bring those hands right to the rib cage, and you can have your thumbs pointing behind, or you can place your whole entire hand. I just want your hands on the side of your rib cage. Close your eyes, just root down through all 4 points of your feet, and just start to settle in. Just beginning to become aware of that expansion and contraction of your rib cage. It's not often during the day that we even focus on anything like this. So as your eyes are closed and you're just starting to settle in, you're just starting to drop whatever you had going on during the day, I want you to start to lengthen your natural breath. So start to deepen that inhale and exhale it out of your mouth. Take a deep inhale in. Exhale it out of the mouth. One more time. Inhale in. Exhale it out. Beautiful. And then gently, just nice and gently, just breathe your arms all the way to the sky. Grab one wrist. I don't care what wrist it is. Grab one wrist with one hand and just start to dip over to the side, just like you could pull that arm bone right out of the scapula. So just move it over. Feel that beautiful opening now on the side of the rib cage. And then as you're ready, inhale, let's come center. We're just going to switch sides, grabbing the opposite wrist, dipping over, making sure your hip points are remaining forward. You're not jutting that one hip out. Inhale up to the top. One last time. Just fold over to that opposite side. Inhale to center. Exhale, last time on this side. And then slowly come on up to the top. Take a breath. We're going to walk to the back of the mat. So I want you to walk to the back of the mat. The arms are still up in the air. I want you to pick up your toes. That's it. Engage the fronts of your legs, feeling those kneecaps literally pin up closer towards your hip flexors. And then on your next exhale, let's just slowly fold forward, leading with your heart. This is the first forward fold. So what I want you to do here is just bend those knees, get the belly right onto the thighs, allow that head to drop nice and long. Think about a string right out of the crown of your head, dripping right to the floor. Make that string nice and straight and long. You're going to notice a nice, beautiful sensation in the hamstrings. Again, too much on your hamstrings, bend your knees even further. And then slowly just walk your hands up a tiny little bit. And we're going to drop our knees down to the mat for a moment. And we're going to come into neutral table. Just coming on into table here for a second. Just breathe. And slowly, let's just make some hip circles. So just make some circles with your hips. You can have your toes tucked. You can have the tops of your feet on the floor, whatever is better. Just making some circles, getting into the hips. Maybe if you feel there's an area that you need to work into a little bit more, stay in that area. Work into it, massaging it a little bit. So tonight I really want you to think about focusing into the glutes and the hips. They're all connected. That gluteus maximus, that gluteus, gluteus, it's another rhyme word. I think it's medius, gluteus medius. All right. And then come back and just switch your circles. Just make some hip circles going to the other side. Make it as organic as possible. Close your eyes. Nobody's watching. Who cares, right? Take one more nice big hip circle going in that opposite direction. Come back to the neutral spine. Okay. We're going to do what I call kind of miniature cat and cows. And what this does is it kind of works into your scapulas, where your shoulder or the ball of your shoulder sits right into that joint. So all I want you to do is when we think about this, I just want you to think about dropping your heart and then picking your heart up and lifting your heart and lungs through your shoulders. So it's a little tiny cat and cow. So first, before we even start this and begin it, I want you to pin your belly button up to your spinal cord, coming into neutral spine. Make sure your spinal cord is beautifully long and lengthened. And then when you're ready, it's a really minute move. All I want you to do is drop your heart, not your belly, drop your heart down towards the mat. It might drop maybe an inch, maybe two. And then on your inhale, I want you to press your heart and your lungs up to the ceiling. That's it. And then drop. Tiny little move. And then lift it up. Really send those lungs up to the sky. And drop. And lift. So it's almost like we're flossing in our shoulder joint or girdle. Keep going. Taking a breath here. Moving with that breath, really pressing when you're pressing your lungs and your heart up to the sky, really pressing through those hands. And then slowly just dropping that heart closer to the mat, but really maintaining that abdominal area. Beautiful. And then when you're done, nice and slowly, I want you to just send those knees a little wider. Bring your big toes to touch. Shift your hips back. And I want you to pin your rib cage right onto your thighs or the inner thighs. And I want you to think about for a moment, just visualize what's going on when we come into this child's pose, right? What is happening to our hip flexors? Our hip flexors are closed, right? The back body is open. So breathe that breath into the back body. Maybe you can even visualize on the exhale, maybe a little calmness coming into the hip flexor. But I want you to be aware of what's happening in the hips and the glutes right now. That's it. Just breathe into this. And then nice and gently, let's come back up on into our table. Take a breath here. Bring your knees back together. Slowly, just take your right leg, extend it long to the back of the mat and really press the toes in. Now, once your toes are pressed in, I want you to press your heel all the way behind you so that you can feel the opening of that right hamstring. Make sure your hips are nice and squared. So try not to dump down in the left hip. Try to get your right hip and your left hip right in alignment, right in front of you. Keep pressing that heel back. And then nice and slowly, take that knee down to the mat. Extend the left leg long. Again, really press the heel behind you. So not only are you opening up your hamstring, you're really working right into your Achilles tendon, all the way down through those feet and up into the gluteus maximus, which is the big fleshy part of our bones. That's it. Keep breathing. And then slowly, let's bring that knee right back next to our right knee. And I want you to think of this now. Look at what's between your legs. Make sure that it is hip width distance. If you'd like, take a fist, place it right in between your knees just to make sure that your alignment's correct. Oh, here we go. We're just going to sit back on our heels, come back into a nice little child's pose one more time. Take a breath. Now, this time your rib cage is literally laying on top of your thighs. We're going to do this kind of rolling and undulating kind of cat and cow movement, and then we're going to reverse it. So nice and slowly now, look up to your hands and start to round your back like you're going to come through that cat. Beautiful. Once you're at the top, I want you to start to bend the elbows down to the mat, look forward, come into the cow. And then slowly shift your hips back towards your heels. We're going to try this one more time. That's it. So coming into that tight little child's pose, nice and slowly. Let's round that back up to the sky. Coming in through cat, Exhale, lower the heart, look forward, start to bend those elbows down, coming into the cow. And then slowly shift the hips back towards the heels. That's it. Let's do this one more time. Inhale, round up through cat. Exhale, open your heart, look forward, elbows down to the mat, and then slowly roll yourself back towards your heels, coming through child's pose. And last time, here we go. One more time, because next time we're going to reverse it. That's it. Cat, cow, look forward, open the heart, shift your hips back. Beautiful. Okay, let's see if we can, in our brain, reverse that. So here we go. When you're ready, you're going to shift your weight forward onto your forearms, coming into the cow, right? Belly's dropped. Look forward. Once you're through your cow, I want you to lift up, pressed up through cat, and then come into child's pose. That's it. Here we go. One more time. Forearms down to the mat. Heart floats through those arms, gazing up. When you're there, press and extend those arms into cat. And then shift your hips back to those heels. That's it. Here we go. We've got that movement down. Coming into the cow. Pressing up into the cat. And exhaling down onto the heels for child's pose. Last time. One more time. That's it. Coming in through that cow, pressing up through the cat. And then shifting your hips back. Beautiful. Take a breath here. This time, open your knees a little wider. Come into your child's pose and see if you can get a little bit of relaxation into that hip flexor. So spend some time visualizing the breath going into the hips. See if that exhale can bring a little calmness. Just breathe. Take a breath. And then when you're ready, nice and slowly, let's come up. Come onto your knees. You're going to shift your legs over to the right. And we're going to come into this, I call it 90-90. Some people call it a Z. My right heel is on top of my right knee. My right knee is in alignment, or I'm sorry, my left knee is in alignment with my left foot. So it's just a nice little 90-90. I'm going to bring my hands behind me. I'm going to lean back here for a moment. Just take a breath here. You're opening up this hip flexor. Take a breath, and then slowly let's come back up. And now you're going to walk your right hand out to the right and inhale that left hand over. Breathe. On your next inhale, let's bring that left arm up to the sky. Right arm will follow, and then left arm drops to the floor. Feel the opening on that right side. Inhale, everything comes up to the top. Exhale, right hand down, left arm over. Think about pinning those right rib cage up to the sky. And then when you're ready, nice and slowly, inhale, both arms up to the top. Stay up to the top here. And now we're going to try to switch our legs. So let's see if we can make that 90-90 without touching our hands down, bringing that 90-90 onto now that left side. So your left heel is right on that right kneecap. Right kneecap is in alignment with right heel. Nice and slowly on your exhale, drop your left hand to the floor and start to lean left. That's it. Breathe into this left rib cage. Seize the sky. Inhale, right arm to the top, left arm will follow, and then we're going to bring that right arm down to the mat. That's it, just breathe. Inhale all the way to the top. Exhale, left hand down, really pin over to that left, lean into it. Inhale, right hand to the top, left hand to the top. Exhale that right hand down to the mat. Take a breath, open up into that left rib cage. All those intercostal muscles, you're separating them, making space. And then slowly on the inhale, right hand will come up to the top, left hand comes up to the top. All right, without using our hands, let's see if we can have bent knees with feet as wide as the outer edge of the mat. That's it. Place your hands now behind you. And nice and slowly, let's drop the knees over to the right. You're going to notice that left hip is going to pin up off the mat. Breathe. Inhale, knees center. Exhale them over to the left. Really press that right knee forward. See what that does, how it lengthens the right hip flexor. Inhale, center. Last time, exhale, right. Press the left knee forward. Feel the stretch. Inhale, center. Last time, drop left. Beautiful. Take one more breath. Bring those knees to the top. This time, bringing the feet together, coming into Supta Baddha Konasana. Okay, so I want you guys to really get in touch with these sit bone or hip bones. So we're going to take those thumbs. You're going to find your hip bones, right? Make sure your sit bones are nice and rooted, but find your hip bones and see if you can separate them. Beautiful. Spine is nice and long. Drip the shoulder blades down the back. And then on your exhale, just fold forward. Go as far as your body says, okay, tonight this is where I can go. Again, remember, no judgment in yoga. Take that out of your mind. And then slowly let go of those hip bones. Walk your hands out as far as they'll go. Think about breathing that heart forward, right? Don't let your head drop. So think long spine. All right, on your next inhale, I want you to straighten your arms up. Inhale up, look up, and then exhale. Walk those fingertips out further and sink down on the exhale. Taking a breath in, inhale, look forward. Exhale, walk the fingertips out and drop down. Heart is still floating forward. Last time, inhale, come to the fingertips, spine long. And then exhale, maybe this time, if you can, drop your forearms to the mat. And just hang out here for a second. If they don't drop down, who cares? Beautiful. And then when you're ready, extend the arms. Come up to the fingertips and let's walk it back. Take a breath. That's it. Let's bring our knees together. Send those legs out for a second and just shake them out a little bit. I want you to, I know you're going to be like, what, Michelle? I want you to take your thumbs and I want you to kind of just massage that hip flexor bone. You can find it. Just massage it a little bit. It's going to be doing a lot of work tonight. So I want to make sure that it's nice and open and calm, taking a breath. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, nice and slowly, bring your knees over to the right and let's come back into table. So this is where kind of our work is going to begin. All right, so hopefully your hamstrings are a little lengthened at this point. Let's make sure our belly button is pinning up to our spinal cord while we're in table. And we're going to think about internal rotation and external rotation because we're going to be doing that to see if we can get into that hip flexor. So remember, internal rotation is where you turn in on a position and external rotation turns out. So all I'm going to ask you to do first is just pick that right knee up off the mat and it's bent, right? So right knee is bent, your foot is either flexed or it's pointed, whatever you feel comfortable with. Now I want you to think about using just your foot and I want you to internally rotate that muscle, right? So you're pinning that right inside muscle of your leg over to the left. Now let's externally rotate it out to the right. Internally rotate it into the left. Externally rotate it out to the right. So think about how you're actually moving that whole thigh muscle. Let's internally rotate it to the left and then externally rotate it to the right. Think about making sure your glute is nice and engaged. And then slowly on your inhale, we're going to come out into that fire hydrant, right? So we know what that's like, right? Nice and slowly now, we're going to drop that right knee down next to the left and then inhale the right knee up. Once you've got it up, I want you to internally rotate that inner thigh and then externally rotate the inner thigh. Internal and external. These movements are not big. On your exhale, drop that knee down to the mat for a second. Take one breath. Make sure your hips are nice and parallel. And slowly, next inhale, just bring that right knee, that bent right knee, back up off the mat. All right, here we go. When you're ready, come into the fire hydrant and now extend the leg. I want you to shift your weight over to your right hip. Now internally rotate the foot, externally rotate it. Internally rotate it, externally rotate it. Nice and slowly, bring that foot so that the sole of the foot sees the sky, bent knee, nice and slowly drop it down to the mat. Take a breath here. Maybe you want to make some tiny little hip circles real quick before we go to the opposite side. So as you're ready, nice and slowly, inhale, left knee right up off the mat. So it's a bent knee, 90-degree angle. Now think about it. Turn, internally rotate that foot to the right. And now externally rotate that foot to the left. Internal, right. External, left. Little movement. Internal, right. Make sure your glute is engaged. External, left. Beautiful. All right, here we go. Bring that out to the side, coming into the fire hydrant. Remember, lean left. Now, internally rotate it. Externally rotate it. Internally rotate it. Externally rotated, nice and slowly. Drop that knee, slow and controlled, down to the mat for a second. Take a breath. If you need to make some little hip circles, get into it. And then slowly on your next inhale, let's breathe that fire hydrant leg out. And now drop the knee. Bring that knee up. Drop the knee. Inhale it up and hold. And now you're going to extend that leg. That's it. Now internally rotate the foot. Externally rotate the foot. Internal. External. Internal. External. Now bring that foot so the sole of the foot sees the sky. Take a breath. Bring the knee down to the mat. Walk your knees as wide as the mat. Shift your hips onto your heels coming into child's pose. Take a second to just kind of visualize that exhale, bringing some calmness into those hip flexors. They've done a lot of work. Just breathe here. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, nice and slowly come back into your table. Either walk your hand, a handprint out, or walk your knees back. But nice and slowly shift those hips back towards the heels. And let's come up into our first down dog. Take a breath here. I want you to really pedal out the dog, right? Because your hips are probably talking to you a tiny little bit. We're going to get back into those in a little bit. But let's just walk this out for a second. And let's take a breath and maybe lengthen out the fronts of our hips. So slowly come into your still down dog. Just breathe here. And now nice and slowly, I want you to press your right heel to the mat and bend your left knee. And as you do this, I want you to walk your hands to the back of the mat to your feet. So your left knee is bent, you're right on your toes, and your right leg and hamstring is nice and flexed and stretched out. Take a breath. Now, I want you to think about really engaging those glutes. And we're going to come up. Pretend like you had little kettlebells or think about squeezing those glutes together. You're still on the toes of the left foot. Left knee is bent. Breathe. Take a breath here. When you get to the top, see if you can release that right hip flexor. Let the engagement of your glute go for 1 second and then put it back in. So engage both glutes. On your exhale, grab those weights or pretend like you have the kettlebells, and we're going to fold back over. Keep breathing. Engage the abdomen. Engage your gluteus maximus and gluteus medius, I think. Take a breath. Stretch out that hamstring. Next inhale, grab those weights. Start to come up. engaging everything, really powerfully putting on that corset, engaging the abs. Take a breath. When you get to the top, let go of everything for just a few seconds. Let it relax for a moment, and then turn it back on. And then on your exhale, let's fold forward, pretending that you have those huge weights. They're dragging you down. You have to make sure that you're not dropping them. So you have to make sure your abdomen is engaged. Take a breath at the bottom. And then slowly on your exhale, let's place that left heel back down onto the mat. Take a breath here. Get your belly right onto your thighs in forward fold and grab your elbows. Shake your head yes. Shake your head no. Let go of any tension that you might have had in the neck while you were gripping your glutes and your abs. And then slowly on your next exhale, let's walk our hands back out into down dog. Take a breath here. Press your hips back towards the crease in the ceiling and the wall. That's it. Breathe. All right, here we go. Knees come down to the mat for a moment. So the exercises that we did when we did fire hydrant and internal and external rotation, we're going to try to do from down dog. Now, if you were on all fours and it was stressful, stay on all fours. But we're just going to try it. We're not going to be there as long as we were when we were down on our knees. So when you're ready, slowly shift your hips back up. And nice and slowly this time, we're going to extend that right leg high. Now, internally rotate that right foot. And now externally rotate that right foot. You should really feel it. Internal, external, internal, external. Now, nice and slowly, I want you to bring that right leg all the way out to the side and internally rotate it, externally rotate it, internally, externally. And now nice and slowly, we're going to see if we can place that right foot up on the outside of our right hand. Take a breath. Drop the back knee down to the mat. Come onto the knife edge of that right foot, right? So pin it up. And I want you to drop and open that entire abductor muscle on the inside of that right leg. Let that right knee really drop. Breathe. Really root down through that knife edge of the foot. So you're opening up that hip flexor on the right-hand side. Breathe. And now gently place that foot down onto the mat. When you're ready, come to the toes of the back foot and extend that left leg. That's it. Breathe. Think about dropping that pelvis for a moment. Really feeling now that opening, that stretch on the left hip flexor. When you're ready, planting the hands, bring that right foot back to meet the left. Come into your down dog. Walk it out. Pedal it out here for a moment. Pressing one heel down, the other heel down. And then let's come into opposite side. So inhale, left leg high. Inner rotate the shin and the toes of that left foot. Outer rotate the shin and the toes. Inner, outer, inner, outer. See if you can feel it all the way up into that left hip flexor. And then when you're ready, extend that left leg out to the side. Inner rotation, outer rotation, inner rotation, outer rotation, and slowly extending it all the way up. See if you can place that left foot on the outside of that left hand. Slowly drop, right knee down to the mat. Come up high in the fingertips, and then turn onto the knife edge. So like that left foot is like a book, right? So the sole of the foot is actually up off the mat. Maybe turn your torso over to the left. Really press that left knee down to the mat. Breathe. Beautiful. Next inhale, place that left hand down, tuck the toe of the back foot, and let's bring that left foot back to meet the right. When you're ready, slowly bending that right knee, right knee, bend right knee, start to walk your hands back towards the back of your mat. So you're on the toes of the right foot. Really flex and feel the opening on the left hamstring. When you're ready, grab those pretend weights or kettlebells and slowly engaging the abs, engaging the glutes. Let's roll up. Breathe. Come to the top. Let go of that engagement for like 10 seconds. And then turn the engagement back on. Really, really make the meaty part of your butt nice and strong. And then on the exhale, let's roll down. Again, right knee is bent. You're on the toes of the right foot. Breathe. Take a breath. Inhale, bring them all the way back. Engage everything, like make it really tight and strong. Take a breath at the top. Let go of it for one last second. And then nice and slowly on your exhale, let's roll down. Make sure everything is tucked in, your corset is on, everything's engaged. That's it. Don't let these heavy kettlebells pull you down. Use your abdomen. Beautiful. Take one breath. Lower that right heel to the mat. Beautiful. On your inhale, move your hands up to your shins, coming into halfway lift. Press that booty behind you. Press that crown of your head forward. Shoulder blades bleed back towards your glutes. One long, beautiful spine. Exhale. Let's fold back down, only to root to rise. Let's come all the way up to the top. Coming in through mountain. Bring your hands to prayer, and then bring your prayer hands to your heart. I want you to close your eyes here. I don't know if anybody else is working up a sweat, but I just worked up a sweat. So close your eyes and go inside and see and have some sense of awareness to what sensations are happening in, whether it be your hips, maybe it's your glutes, maybe it's your abs, wherever the sensation is. Go there, know that it's happening, and send the breath to that area. And that exhale, that beautiful long, deep exhale out should help bring some nice kind of calmness, tension-free, no tightness in those areas. Gorgeous. Take one more breath in. And then slowly let's inhale, arms float to the sky. On your exhale, let's forward fold, coming back in. Take a breath. When you're ready, nice and slowly walk yourself back out into your down dog. Take a breath here. Beautiful. We're going to come into a nice little tiny slow flow. So when you're ready, really engaging that hip flexor, pull that right knee right into your chin or your nose. And I want you to come up high to the toes of that left foot. And then slowly plant that right foot right between your hands, coming into a nice little lunge. Take a breath. When you're ready, drop that back knee. Make sure there's nice amount of space between your right knee and your back knee. And then when you're ready, slowly shift those hips back, coming into a nice little runner's lunge. Pin the toes right down to the mat. Feel the big stretch. Pin that right hip. Actually, take your right thumb, press it into the hip flexor and press it back. Feel that big opening, big stretch. Toes on that right foot, pin to the mat. And then inhale nice and slowly, come forward. Now you're going to shift that right knee over those right toes. Now feel the opening on the opposite side. Come up high onto the fingertips. Breathe. Let that pelvis drop to the mat. One more time. Exhale. Shift your hips back. Coming into runner's lunge. Really press those right toes into the mat. Take your right hand up off the mat. Press that right thumb into that right hip. Press it back. Allow the left hip to come forward. Last time, let's walk that right hand back. Coming back into now that lunge where our right knee is over the right toes. Come up high, extend. Beautiful. Take one more breath. Let's come back into down dog. That's it. Press it out. Walk your dog out maybe. And then slowly coming up high onto the toes of the right foot. Bring that left knee right into your chin or your forehead. Breathe. And then slowly place it on the left side, of your mat. Now, so remember how I was talking about some people get pinches in their hips? If you get a pinch in your hip, you need to lift your booty up, and that kind of helps to alleviate that pinch. All right, so let's do runner's lunge on this side. When you're ready, slowly press that gluteus maximus back towards that right heel. Lift that left thumb, place it right there into that hip flexor. So right hip comes forward, left hip goes back. Breathe into it. Press those toes to the mat. And then inhale, let's come forward. Left knee extends over left toes. Come to the fingertips. Lift the heart. Breathe into this. Feel that nice sensation onto that right hip flexor. Last time, tucking the toes of the right foot, shifting your glutes all the way back. Pinning that hip back with that thumb. Making sure the toes of that left foot are really planted on your mat. And then shifting your weight forward. Left knee goes over left toes. One more time. Look forward. Tuck the toe of that back foot. Let's come back into down dog. That's it. Breathe. Walk it out. I know you're like, oh my God, I'm in so many down dogs. I totally understand what you're saying. Nice and slowly walk your hands back towards your heels at the back of the mat. Coming back into Uttanasana on the back of the mat. Nice and slowly. Lift the toes of the left foot. Here we go. We're going to grab those dumbbells. We're going to engage everything. We're coming all the way back up to the top of the mat. And then once we get to the top, this time I want you to lift your left knee, pull it in towards your chest. Make sure the left foot is flexed. Beautiful. Take a breath here. And then slowly let go of that left leg. Place the toes on the floor. And then slowly drop it down. Fight the urge to just drop and flop, right? Think about the barbells. Engage the abs. Coming all the way back down to the mat. Only to pick them up. They weigh so much more than they did. And let's come back up to the top. Slow and controlled. And once you get to the top again, pull the left knee in towards your chin. Make sure that left foot is flexed. If you start to get the pinch, let go of it. Ease out of it a little bit. And then nice and slowly, let's drop that entire foot down to the mat. Take your hands to your hips. Give your hips a little shimmy, a little shake here. Your hips are doing a lot of work. So are your glutes and those hip flexors. All right, now this time, let's come to the toes of the right foot. Bent right knee, left leg is extended. Make sure you have your pretend dumbbells or kettles into your hands, and let's drop forward. Fight the urge to just flop down, engage the glutes, engage the abs. That's it. Here we go. We're going to come back up. Squeeze everything like a corset on. This should be tough, right? It's kind of like an isometric exercise. Once you get to the top, we're going to inhale right knee in towards the chin. Oh, let's hope I have some balance tonight. Make sure the right foot is flexed. And then slowly exhale to the right toes. Make sure the right knee is bent. Here we go. We're going back down with our really heavy weights. Pretend that they're so heavy that you're struggling. Breathe. Once you get down to the bottom, let's start to pull them back up, engaging. Make sure the glutes are nice and tight. You're engaging them. Beautiful. And then again, once you get to the top, grab your right knee, pull it into the chest. Feel the opening now on that left hip flexor. And then slowly exhale that right foot down to the mat. Take a breath. And now we're going to turn out long ways onto our mat into a nice little wide stance. So take your feet, make sure your feet, those knife edges are parallel to the knife or to the edges of your mat. Bring your arms out, and if you can, try to visualize your wrists being over top of your ankles. So if you need to walk those feet out, walk them out. Oh, you can already feel this big sensation into those hip flexors. Beautiful. Take one breath. Bring those hands behind you. Clasp them. Open your heart. Open your chest. Shoulder blades together. And now lift the fist off of your behind. Beautiful. Keeping those shoulder blades together. Let's fold forward. Nice and slowly. Take a breath. Beautiful. Take a breath here, and then slowly bring the hands to the mat for a moment. Let's open up our heart, placing our left hand on the mat. Inhale your right arm up, and then exhale that right hand down, only to send the left arm up. Breathe. This should feel good, nice and open. Exhale that hand down. Take a breath here. We're going to heel toe our feet now in until you can come into what I consider to be Malasana width, right? So toes are turning out to the sides, heels are on the inside. When you're ready, slowly just drop your booty down, nice and slowly. That's it. Bring the hands into your heart and press those knees away. And once you're here, we're going to kind of stretch out a tiny little bit while we're down here. So place those hands back down onto the mat. Pick up one heel and then pick up the other heel and just kind of work back and forth. Just getting this opening again into the hip flexor. Beautiful. Come back into a still Malasana. Anjali Mudra, hands at heart center. Spine is nice and long and straight. Knees are pinned behind you. Beautiful. Take one more breath. Extend the arms in front of you. Separate the hands, but the palms face each other. And then nice and slowly drop your behind down to the mat. Gorgeous. Take a breath. Keep your hands where they are. Bring your feet into oh my God, why am I butterfly? Okay. And then slowly bring your hands down to the mat. Just take a breath here. This time we're going to grab the outer edges of our feet with our hands, and I want you to press your knees down to the mat. So opening up in through those abductors one more time. Our spine is nice and long. Just take a breath, and now slowly we're just going to bounce those knees up and down like you were fluttering little butterfly wings here, right? Just breathe. That should feel good, right? It feels kind of nice, letting go of any tension now into those hip flexors. And then gently letting go of the grip of the feet. We're going to turn onto our mat so we're long ways. Take a breath. We're going to bring the hands out. You know how we do this. We're going to go all the way down. I want you to hold when you get to that point where your abs start talking to you. Just hold there. Breathe. Make sure there's space between your chin and your chest. And then on your next exhale, let's lower down. Nice and slow and controlled. Take a breath here. Beautiful. Bring your arms into a T. Bring your knees to your belly or your chin. Breathe. And then slowly, let's drop those knees over to the left while we turn and look right. Little knee down twist here. Take your left hand, place it on top of your right knee. Really pin those knees together. And see if you can come into some type of relaxation here. Again, stretching out now the side of the hip, getting into the IT and the psoas. Just breathe into this. This should feel good. And gently letting go of the grip on that right knee. Let's bring those knees back into the chest, taking your time, doing it nice and slow and controlled. Once you get to the top, Let's exhale those knees over to the right elbow point. Once you're there, gaze left and place your right hand on top of your left knee. See if you can sink that shoulder blade down, that left shoulder down to the mat. A beautiful long length on that left side. Allow your breath to come even. Nice, even inhales, even exhales. You should feel a nice stretch across your pectoral muscles, along the muscles across the top of your chest. And then gently inhale your gaze back into center, come back into a T, bringing those knees back into center. Let's come into a little bit of a happy baby. So let the soles of your feet see the ceiling. Arms come on the inside of the legs. Grab either your ankles, your calves, the outer edges of your feet, and just rock side to side. And now I want you to kind of just pump. You're going to pull one knee down to the mat while the other leg goes long. And we're just going to go back and forth, kind of like flossing now our hip flexors, if that makes sense. Getting a nice little stretch while we're doing it. Breathe. One more breath. Come back into regular happy baby with both knees bent. And now I want you to pull both knees down to the mat. Make sure your tailbone is still rooted onto the mat. Just feel the beautiful stretch on the insides of those abductor muscles. Beautiful. Lastly, let's place those feet on the outer edges of the mat. Bring your knees to touch. We're just going to windshield wiper them one side. Whoa. So I just dropped my knees right. Ooh, I feel a big stretch down my left hip flexor. So I want you to press that left knee towards the front of the room. Feel the lengthening in not only the hip flexor, but all the way down the quad muscle. And then bring those center. Let's switch sides. Maybe one side feels different than the other. Keep pressing that right knee forward. Inhale, center. Last time, drop them right. See if you can get them to open up and relax. Inhale, center. Last time, left. Beautiful. Just for 1 minute, let's come into Supta Baddha Konasana. So bring the soles of the feet together. Hands on the insides of the thighs. Let's open it up. And I want you to consciously think about how that hip ball or bone is in that joint, right? So it's kind of like how your shoulder, it's a ball and joint. I want you to kind of visualize it and see if you can send your breath there and just let it relax. Because we're going to come into meditation. And I want you to feel totally calm, no tightness, no tension. When you're ready, let's bring that left knee to meet the right, coming into fetal position. Press that hand down and let's come all the way up to the top. I want you to get yourself comfortable. So you can either sit on a block, you can sit on a pillow, you can sit on a chair. Just come into a comfortable spot where you can sit for a little bit, grab a blanket if you're cold. And let's just get ourselves ready for a breath-focused meditation. Breath-focused meditation is a skill, and we train for it just like we train for anything. So know that just because tonight you did one meditation doesn't mean that, you need to do 30 minutes tomorrow. It's like training for a marathon. If you ran 1 mile tonight, doesn't mean you can run 13 tomorrow. So take it slowly. Know that anytime a thought floats in while we meditate tonight, that it's perfectly normal. Don't judge it. It's fine. But for right now, I just want you to settle in, And tonight's practice will center around the in and out of our breath. So once you're here, I want you to just slowly come into yourself. I want you to, if you can, close your eyes. If you don't feel comfortable closing your eyes, that's fine. You can have your hands in your lap. You can have your hands on your knees. You can come into a mudra with your hands. Wherever you are, just sit in a comfortable posture. But I want you to think about lengthening the spine. Think about a string from the crown of your head connected to the ceiling. Allow the shoulder blades to drip down your back and start to become soft. You have a tiny slight tuck of the chin. This helps to keep your spine and back long. And now everyone's going to take a nice deep breath in, so really lengthen the inhale and a long exhale out. Do one more deep inhale, fill up those lungs big and wide, expanding the rib cage out to the side of the room, and then a long, beautiful, extended exhale. And now gently return to your natural breath. No lengthening, just even inhales with even exhales. I'm going to give you a second to come into your natural breath. So now I just want you to bring your attention to your breath. Don't alter it. Breathe at your pace. Acknowledge each inhale and each exhale. Now begin to, with each inhale, form the word in. With each exhale, focus on the word out. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. I'm going to give you some time to focus on the in breath and your out breath. And as you've acknowledged each one of your inhales and each one of your exhales, try and notice the coolness of your breath on your inhale and the warmth of your breath on your exhale. Breathing in the coolness, breathing out the warmth. Now let go of your attention on the coolness and the warmth and settle your attention on what happens to your rib cage as you inhale and expand, and as you exhale and contract. Notice the expansion and the contraction. Now let go of this, focus, and ask yourself, if you were able to keep your attention settled on your breath, on the in and the out, on the coolness and the warmth, on the expansion and the contraction of your rib cage and your breath. Notice how you feel right now in this moment. Perhaps you feel a little less stressed. Maybe you feel a bit more easeful in your mind. Maybe there were moments in your mind where you were able to have pauses. And if you didn't notice anything immediately, no worries. Meditation often works behind the scenes. With each session, you'll notice subtleties that will come to your practice, bringing you closer to your goals. So take one more nice, beautiful, long, deep breath in, and a long exhale out. And when you're ready, slowly come onto your back for Shavasana, taking your time, not rushing. And as you do this, remembering that our breath is always with us. When you need a break from worrying or from all the constant chatter that happens in our mind, always return to your breath. Now gently, when you're ready, we're going to take a deep breath in. Exhale it out of your mouth. One more inhale, nice and big. Exhale it out of your mouth. And come into the peacefulness of your Shavasana. Allowing every muscle, every bone, and every joint to be peaceful and calm. No holding, no tightness. Everything is relaxed and heavy. Gently begin to come back into the space. Feeling the air on your skin, hearing my voice, sending small movements to your fingers and your toes. your ankles, your wrists. And then bringing those legs together and your arms overhead, come into a full body stretch. Feel the stretch all along the front side of your body, from the toes, up your shins, up the thighs, feeling that lengthening into your hip flexors, up through your rib cage, all the way up to the top of your clavicles. And then slowly pull those knees into your chest, hug on to them, rock side to side, getting a beautiful lower lumbar spinal massage. And then slowly rolling off onto your right side, coming into fetal position and holding. Taking a second again to bring your awareness to your breath, knowing that what you did for yourself tonight during your breath focused meditation actually has a calming effect on your mind and your body. It'll help reduce your stress, your anxiety, and it's a great way of channeling your attention to your breath so that it can give your mind some space from all that self-critical thoughts that we have of ourselves and our mind chatter. And then slowly taking that top hand onto the floor, pressing yourself up into a nice little easy pose, coming back into stillness. Bringing your hands into Anjali Mudra, lowering your forehead to your fingertips in acknowledgement and honor for what you've done during your practice this evening and what it does for just not your body, but for your mind and your spirit. Namaste, my yogis. Thank you, ladies. I hope that